I am Dogan Altinbilek. I am the Vice President of the World Water Council. I am a professor of water resources engineering in Turkey. And in this present term, I am representing Turkish Contractors Association. I'm the governor on behalf of them. In my opinion, those countries who can afford the water has no water problem. But those countries who cannot afford, those people who are living under $1 a day, under $2 a day, they don't have enough water to drink, they don't have sanitation, they don't have food, and they also have poverty. So these people are the most important issue because the number of these people are huge. The number of people who cannot have access to water is maybe 800 million people. It was 1.1 billion people, but it was reduced throughout the Millennium Development Goals. And number of people without toilet is 2.4 million people. In Africa, women are going in the sunset time to the bush to go to the toilet, and they are being raped. So they say this is not just their right, it is their dignity. They need it for this, for their dignity. So we must reach out to these people. This is the most important problem because these people are helpless. They cannot afford. They are not able to pay taxes, so their governments cannot do the necessary infrastructure. And companies are not there because they are not able to sell the water because these people are only making $1 a day. So they cannot afford the cost of the water. So right now, the most important problem in this background is this SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, which is standalone goal for the water. Water has always been a cross-cutting issue in the problems in the Human Development Goals, but now it has a chance in 2015 that there will be a water goal, number 6 now in the United Nations agenda. So if this goal passes, I am hopeful that things will improve. And Council has been working on this problem for a long time. In 2013, we were the co-organizers of this Budapest Water Summit. And Declaration of the Budapest is one of the most important documents which led the discussion in the United Nations. And I'm hopeful in 2015 there will be a sustainable development goal dedicated to the water. Access to water to start with, availability of water, access to sanitation for the poor people, access to water for food, water for energy. These are the priorities. We are quite different than the other associations who are dealing in the water. That is why a lot of water-related professional associations, NGOs, are the members of the World Water Council. World Water Council is dealing more with the policy issues, management issues, financing issues, and politics of the problems. So this is all these associations, they know that World Water Council is more effective in these areas. In this present term, we have a pact for water security, which includes the political aspects of the water, like this SDG issue that I mentioned, and also water governance, water and energy, water and food, financing the water infrastructure, which is also related. We have put a big effort this term on this area, water and disasters, and also the green growth. Because while we are growing, we don't want to damage the environment, and we should be socially responsible. So how to grow without damaging the environment and being socially responsible and what is the role of water in this? Since water is a cross-cutting issue, in the green economy, in the green growth, it is always the transportation, it is housing, it is energy. But in these three areas, whichever direction you go, you come to water at one point. If you are talking about transportation, there is navigation, river navigation, sea transport. And if you are talking about the housing, there is the water supply. And if you are talking about the cities, there is water in it. So in all those areas, in energy, there is hydropower. So there is water as a cross-cutting issue. So can water be a locomotive for the growth, green growth? So this is something Council is also looking after. Yes. If I can tell about myself, I'm a professor of water resource engineering, and I have been teaching at the Middle East Technical University of Ankara for many, many years. I am now retired, but before I retire, I was also the Director General of the DSI, which is Turkish State Hydraulic Works. This is a very large organization with 40,000 people working, and which spends $5 billion a year for the water infrastructure in Turkey. So I was heading the largest organization in Turkey, which is putting these efforts. So after these experiences on my back, when in the 21st century, in this millennium, I decided that it is time to put some effort into the non-governmental organization. And first, in 2002, I became the Vice President of the International Hydropower Association. And then I became the President between 2004 2008. And now I am the honorary member of that association. And I became a member of the board of the World Water Council in year 2000. And year 2000, since year 2000, I am in one way or the other is in the board of that. And presently also I am the president of International Water Resource Association. So I am finding this professional association life in this age and with my experience very satisfying for me, because we are not just doing something for my family or for my children or for my country, but for whole humanity. So I am finding this very exciting that, of course, I have water in my home in Turkey, but if we can find something for 800 million people who do not have water, and they can have water, this is professionally is something that I'm very motivated about. As I told you, those people who can afford the water, they have no problem. They can, Marseille, even if it doesn't have water, they can desalinate water from the sea, and if they can pay 1 meter cube water 70 US cents, then there's no problem. They can make it available. The problem is for those who cannot afford, and these people are the challenge. There was this problem many years ago as well, but it was not so much in the focus. But now the distance between the developing world and developed countries, Western world, is not coming together, but it is becoming more wider in between them. They're becoming not together, but they are going in different directions. And Africa is falling more and more behind. So there must be some help. Also some parts of Asia and South America. So there must be some help to these people. And maybe some years ago, there was a declaration in the United Nations that 35 liters per capita per person water is a human right. Human right. And our council is also has some role in doing that, because our honorary president, Louis Fouchon, made a speech at the General Assembly of the UN and plead this. And he also plead that there must be a fund for water for this needing people. So council has been dealing for this right to water and access to water issues for a long time. But now there are the same amount of water in the world as 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, the same amount of water. But world population is increasing. Because of increased population, in some areas, the need to water is becoming more acute. So more people are needing water. So that is why there are a lot of talks that in 30, 40 years' time, water will be more critical resources. In fact, it will be more expensive than the petroleum and whatever. But there are a lot of technical solutions to be able to solve our problem. And if it is sustainably managed, world's water will be enough for many, many years to come. Council members can accomplish many things. In council, there are no personal membership. It is all institutional memberships. And our institutions are in 5 categories. One category is the international organization, other category, national organizations, and third one is for enterprises, fourth one is NGOs, and fifth one is associations, etc. So these are academics also in those groups. So these represent the several parts of the society, and if we have an objective, we have always enough members, if not all members, who can deal with the issue. And between the cross-college, if there is some problem in somewhere, association can do some work, but we can also appeal to the national governments, to international organizations, all under the same roof. So our members are doing many things. One good example of that, the effort that council members have put during the SDG process, Sustainable Development Goal process, for the past 3 years. It's a mega event. It is the largest global water event, which is happening every 3 years. It is a very nice meeting place for all the water experts. A lot of people from the developing countries are coming there to be heard. There is a political component. Usually there is more than 100 ministers and maybe several dozens heads of states in that meeting. So politicians and technicians and people who need water and the NGOs are all there. So if you go to a forum, no 2 persons are going to the same forum. Yes, they are coming from the same gate, but the sessions that they go are different sessions based on their choices. Right. In every forum, problems of each region is being dealt with, discussed, and also there is now cross-region problems. For example, if there is a shortage of irrigation water in Africa, in South America, and South Asia, we are putting them together so that they can benefit from each other, not just north to south, a transfer change, but from cross-border changes. So forums have a great function, and that is why every time something like 30,000 people are coming and attending the forums. Marseille Forum in 2009 was a forum of solutions. No, I'm sorry, 2012. So there were several hundred sessions. Each one of them had formulated some solution. And also we opened a platforms website, and several thousand solutions came from the general public and also the technicians in this field. So some of these solutions are being implemented now or on the stage of implementation. And some of these things, like in the area of the water governance, OECD in 5 targets is continuing the work. And in the Korea Forum in 2015, these solutions will be discussed again, and how they are implemented will be monitored.